Howdy, yokes. Before we get started today, we want to let you know that this episode of Bacon and Eggs is brought to you by our fantastic patrons. Now, more than ever, it is important for you to head over to patreon.com/baconandeggs and check out all the amazing reward tiers we have over there. We're trying to take this thing a little bit more seriously and do a little more with it and make more out of it and give you more content, but we can't do that without your support. So head over to patreon.com/baconandeggs, check out all the great reward tiers we have over there and pick one that suits you. And then you get a whole bunch of bonus content and it'd be great. We love you. We'll see you soon. Howdy, yokes, and welcome back to Bacon.
Hang on. Fuck.
Howdy, yokes, and welcome back to. Howdy, yokes, and welcome back to Bacon and Eggs. I'm Tyler Carlin.
And I'm Ethan Edgehill. This is hard.
And today we're going back to school.
Maybe we're just sticking it to the man.
So you're not hardcore.
Unless you live hardcore.
Because today we're bringing you
School of Rock.
That was so okay.
I did record that.
You certainly played the guitar. That's for sure.
Certainly played the guitar.
Anyway.
Oh my God, that's out of tune.
Oh God.
Okay, we're done with that.
School of Rock was directed by Richard Linklater. It came out on October 3rd. Hey, that's that one day. 2003, which was 6,594 days ago. Had a $35 million budget, made $131 million at the global box office. Got a 92% critic rating and a 64% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes and an 82 on Metacritic. Do you have a negative review?
I do not have a negative review because they're all stupid.
They are all stupid. I'm glad you said that. I've got a positive review from Peter Rayner at the New York Magazine. Oh, this was pre-Christian Science Monitor.
Pre-Christian Science Monitor, Peter Rayner.
It would be a shame if only kids went to see this film. Adults who can still plug into their inner rocker, if only to play air guitar, will love it too. I need a 0 out of 100 from you, Ethan Edgehill.
Oh, man. Boy, howdy. School of Rock, man. This is, it's been a while since I've seen this one. Not gonna lie to you.
Oh,
it's been a minute.
You're about to really upset me.
No. Well, see, in the words of Pat McAfee, this is a 100%er.
100%er.
This is a 100%er. I'm not sure there has ever been a more important movie made in our lifetime.
I did not realize until watching it today how much of my life and my mannerisms and my personality is defined
entirely because of this movie.
Because of School of Rock.
Entirely. I pledge allegiance to the band of Mr. Schneebly.
It's not, when I think about it, it's not even like the way that I think about, like, it's not even just my mannerisms and like quotes that I say from this movie all the time. The way that I think about like being a professional and like learning something and like, okay, so Dewey Finn dedicates his life to rock and roll and he gets to a point where any question anyone asks him about it, he knows the answer, to the point where he could teach lectures on it. That's where you need to be. That's how you know you found your passion, is when you can explain it to a child.
When you can explain everything else to a child through the rock and roll.
Yes. And I'll say this, Dewey Finn is the reason I stick it to the man to this day.
Yeah.
That speech he gave, I remember watching it in 2003, being 10 years old and being like, I don't understand a word that you're saying. I genuinely don't know what any of this means. And then watching it stuck. But it's stuck. And then watching it today and being like, I preach this to other people.
Yes. God,
when he's
what
like,
a movie.
He ruined it with a little thing called MTV.
Like,
oh my God. I think
oh man.
So this is like, I saw the reviews people were leaving in our Facebook group, and there were not 100%. There was a bunch of 100%ers, but there were some people that were like 95.
Sorry, Tyler, our what?
Our Facebook group, free to join. Or I'm sorry, our meta group.
Our meta group. Thank you. Our meta group, sponsored by Sweet Baby Ray's.
Oh my God.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody who's not a lady or a gentleman, since we last recorded the old Bacon and Eggs, Mark Zuckerberg has lost his zucking mind and rebranded Facebook.
I don't know that. So I didn't watch the press release. Is the app going to change to Meta, or is it going to be Facebook as a brand inside of Meta?
I have no idea.
Like
I have
Facebook
no
and
idea.
Instagram and
The press release, the man was like, you know who does great press releases? Apple. I'm going to do exactly like that. But doesn't know anything about his own company or how the world works or anything at all because he's a robot and an alien, maybe even an alien robot.
Yeah.
It's nonsense. Okay. I watched the thing and it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. It's the worst branding decision ever in history.
The logo is so bad.
It's the worst branding decision ever in history. Facebook is one of the all-time iconic images of this generation, right? Like everybody knows what Facebook is. Everybody knows what Facebook looks like. They made a movie about it.
I would
got nominated for every Oscar on the planet.
I would go so far as to say it's not even just like Facebook is a recognizable thing, but like the movie they made about it that crucified Mark Zuckerberg sold me on the name Facebook.
On the name Facebook, right? Like sold me on the name Facebook. Facebook was synonymous for so long with social media, and this will kill it.
I don't think it'll kill it. I don't think Facebook's going anywhere.
No, because one day they're going to change the app to Meta on people's phones without them asking them to.
Oh, and old people are going to be lost.
And all your over 40s are going to be like, what? Where did Facebook go? And your under 40s are going to be like, that's stupid.
I'm deleting it. I'm done.
I'm deleting it. Yeah. Like the biggest branding mistake ever. Right.
Do you remember when IHOP did IHOB?
Yeah, that was funny.
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious, right? This is not hilarious. This is like, how can we cryptocurrency Facebook, right? Like how can we turn Facebook into Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency that nobody likes, right? They needed to be Sheeb and they went for, any other kind of altcoin. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It pissed me off legitimately. But the fact that Mark Zuckerberg keeps a bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's on his decorative bookshelf is the only proof I need that he is an android.
So do you not do that?
No, I keep it in the fridge because it says on the bottle, refrigerate after opening. And if I have an unopened bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's, because my fridge is so chock-a-block full of Sweet Baby Ray's that I couldn't possibly fit any more in the fridge, I have a pantry for that. I don't keep it on my, what I'm sure was a $10,000 bookshelf next to my books.
This is one thing. So
never once have I been looking at my copy of The Giver and thought, you know what this could use? Some honey barbecue, baby. Let's go.
Do you have a copy of The Giver?
No,
I do.
Every book on my bookshelf has been purchased this year currently, except for like the Twilight books and my copy of Turtles All the Way Down. All the rest of my books are still at Mom's house.
I have a copy of The Giver. I think I bought this year. So the thing about the Sweet Baby Ray's is it's such a weird company to go for because in the past, this is true. In the past week, Sweet Baby Ray's went on TikTok and published their original recipe. Like,
actually, it's not even the company Sweet Baby Ray's that did it. It was like Ray himself.
Yeah, it was like, hey,
I guess sold the company at some point, and he's like, hey, by the way, this was my dad's recipe for barbecue sauce.
And this is exactly how I make it down to the ingredients.
Exactly how you make it.
A lot of times when you watch like Triple G or something, the chef will be like, "Oh, and then we use our secret powder." It's like, okay, yeah. I know what that is, but we'll play it off.
They have everything pre-proportioned in like very nice bowls.
Yeah,
and they're like, dump it in. In reality, Triple D had to bring those bowls in, and the guy in the back is just like, I don't know how much honey powder I put in, just pour it out the bag.
I just got this big old jar of it. I got at Costco.
I just put it in there and I stick my finger in, I taste it, and see how much it tastes like. It's good.
And my taste buds have been burned off for 3 years, so who knows?
Yeah. Let me tell you, when you first cook gumbo, it's real hot. It's real hot. Shouldn't stick your tongue straight in it. No, sir.
So do you watch do you watch any Guy Fieri?
Not on a regular basis.
Okay. Do you have a preference between Triple G and Triple D?
Yeah, Triple D.
You Triple D guy.
Triple D guy.
See, I'm a Triple G.
See, here's the thing. I like a grocery game show as much as the next guy, but at the end of the day, it's just chopped with more yelling.
I think it's chopped with less yelling.
Well, the guy yells a lot more than Alton Brown does. Not Alton Brown. Tim, whatever his name is.
Yeah. How cool would it be if there was a show hosted by Tim Cook?
The Apple guy?
Yeah, if they were like
a cooking show?
Yeah. To be fair, his name is Cook and the company's called Apple. Yeah. It could be like iPie or something.
iPie. Yeah, look. Here's the thing about Fieri. I would never turn off a Fieri product.
No,
I've been to more than one of his restaurants.
There are Food Network shows I will turn off. I'll turn off Chopped.
I won't. I love Chopped.
I'll tell you why. Chopped. This is what Triple G does that Chopped does poorly. Is Chopped And a lot of the cooking shows do this. It always upsets me. Baking shows are notorious for this problem.
Okay.
The clock can't be the drama. That's how I feel.
Okay. I feel that.
I feel like on Triple G, the clock is never the drama, which is one of my favorite things, is like, you just know that they finished making their meal. It's impressive that they made steak in 30 minutes, or I guess that wouldn't be that impressive. It's impressive that they made risotto in 30 minutes, not that...
But it's about the ingredients.
Right, and not that they plated it in the last 30 seconds.
No, I'm with you. Look, I don't like asking me to pick between Triple D and Triple G is like, which of my hands do I best, right?
That actually makes sense because the right answer is Triple G.
Okay, but like,
and you're left-handed.
I can get something out of Triple D though.
You talking about?
I can go to those restaurants. There are so few TV shows where you can, like, you can't go up to Alexandria and kill somebody because you saw it on Criminal Minds, right?
No,
like, it doesn't work like that. You can't go out to New Mexico and cook meth.
No, but you can on
you can't pretend to be a substitute teacher and teach kids to rock.
Dude,
that's like 46 separate felonies.
So that was one of the reviews I saw that we had on
Dewey Finn would be in super jail. They would invent a new kind of jail.
Yeah, like obviously you can't do what Dewey Finn did.
No.
Not in 2003, definitely not in 2021.
Definitely not in 2021.
Virtual learning would make a rock band very challenging.
Very challenging.
But like the end, he has like the after school program. They drop the charges because the principal is like, I mean, I guess they learned something. It's not like third graders have much curriculum anyway. It's babysitting.
Especially substitute third grade teaching.
Right. Michael, I have one major question. Where is this?
Well, it's in the northern half of the country.
Yeah, because it's cold.
It's East Coast, obviously.
I was thinking Pennsylvania.
Maybe, yeah, like Philly.
Yeah, that's what I
don't think it's Philly though. I think it's like New Haven.
Connecticut,
yeah.
Way up there,
yeah.
Where like a
maybe like somewhere like Amherst, Massachusetts, or
I freaking love this movie.
Oh, same, dude. Absolutely same. I hadn't seen it in a while. Okay.
So this is an hour
incredible.
Hour and 45 minutes long.
Yeah.
I didn't get up once.
I got up to go to the bathroom, but that was it.
Well, I think my child needed food or something, but like I didn't have to like pause it and come back to it later. Like the time,
right.
There was no pacing issues whatsoever.
No.
I think they had an opportunity, and I think when they casted it, they planned on this to do a lot more like incidental comedy with Sarah Silverman. And I love Sarah Silverman. She's hilarious. I'm glad that they made her just like this awful girlfriend with
just
a script.
Clear bad guy. Yeah.
Right. I know watching this as a kid, she was the clear bad guy. Watching this as an adult, I was like, you're definitely the bad person, right? You keep telling Ned that he can't have like let everybody walk over him they do this joke a lot in the movie where the person is giving you instructions that contradict what they're doing.
Yeah.
Dewey does it to Zach at one point where he's like, what would you do if somebody's getting in your face? What would you say? Come on. And he like won't lay off. It happens multiple times. But the fact that like they didn't make Sarah Silverman like a joke character, I thought worked really well.
Because she's the obvious, like she's the real life comedian in this.
She would be like the biggest powerhouse comedian in this
of
movie.
The day, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even Jack Black, 2003, he hadn't done a lot.
He wasn't really anybody.
I guess he had done a lot. He started in 1994, so he'd been in a lot of stuff. I know that when I saw School of Rock, I knew who Jack Black was. I don't know
why. Yeah.
Because when I look back at previous to this, he was in Ice Age as a voice. Movies I've seen since this came out that he was in prior to this coming out. The Cable Guy, Mars Attacks.
You've seen Mars Attacks?
Actually, I saw that prior to this coming out, but I wouldn't have known Jack Black from that.
That movie's hilarious.
I hate Mars Attacks. I still have nightmares about it. I'd seen Saving Silverman and
I almost suggested we watch that movie today.
Really?
Yeah, it's on Netflix right now.
And so this is the second time on this podcast that a movie's been on Netflix, but my Apple TV doesn't tell me when it's on Netflix, so I rent it anyway. So
nice.
I did spend $4 on this.
Hey, worth it.
Totally worth it. No complaints whatsoever. I've seen Saving Silverman. I probably had seen Saving Silverman when this came out. That was one that like when you were at a young person's, not like as young as you, but like if you went to somebody's house and they had an older brother or something like that, like Saving Silverman was on the TV.
Yeah.
Let's see. What would you have done?
I've still to this day, I've never seen Saving Silverman.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Prior to this, he'd been in not a bunch of TV, some TV that I've never seen any of it. So I don't know why.
Well, like this was Jack Black's like his magnum opus at the time.
Yeah.
This was the first, I would say, like of the Jack Black movies.
Yeah. This, you don't get Pick a Destiny without this.
No, absolutely not. You also don't get Poe the Panda without this, though.
So this is my opinion on School of Rock. School of Rock is, to me, what Ferris Bueller was for somebody born 15 years prior to me.
I totally get that.
I like wholeheartedly believe that. And Ferris Bueller is a big part of my culture as well, right? Like, but I wasn't alive for it to come out, so it'll never be that.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller is a big part of my culture. The same way, you know, AC/DC and Led Zeppelin are a big part of my personal
history. They already
history,
existed when I came.
They already existed, right? But this was me. I was 10, right? I was 10 years old
when
this was my movie.
Yeah,
man, this movie. I will say, like, I love this movie. I love this movie to death. This movie will make you feel like a worthless piece of shit, like nothing else, because like all of these kids that are in this movie are older than us, but just barely.
I think the kid that played Freddie Jones, didn't he die?
He died. He got hit by a bus like end of last year. Yeah, got hit by a bus in Chicago, died.
God.
But like all these kids are like barely older than us, right? And they, haven't really done much else for the most part. They were in this movie.
Cosgrove older than us?
Yeah. She is 2 months younger than me.
Really?
Yeah.
May 14th, 1993. Look at that.
She's almost to the day 2 months younger than me. But like, let me lay a couple things down for you that'll disturb you about this movie. Just makes you feel old. Like, because you gotta think, like, this movie comes out, Taylor Swift is like 14 when this movie comes out, and she's the biggest pop star in the world.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran, who had an album come out today that will probably debut at number 1, if not very close to it. 12 years old. Lil Nas X was 4.
Oh God.
And he's a number 3 on the charts right now. Adele number 1 was 15. And the Kid Laroi, who wrote Stay with Justin Bieber, was 1 month old.
You know who else was 1 month old?
Who?
Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh
man.
So rock and roll as a concept, at least before TikTok really took it over, rock and roll as a concept in the last couple of years has been about as dead as it's ever been since the Beatles came to America, since Elvis Presley, right? Like rock and roll does not exist.
Greta Van Fleet, thank you very much.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it. You got Greta Van Fleet and the Foo Fighters. the concept of the band is dead.
Even in this, though, they're talking about like this would have been right at like the start of My Chemical Romance. Blink-182 would be big. Like he even says a few times that's so punk rock.
Yeah, the last bands to like really make it signed their first record deals. Like the last like bands like Fall Out Boy signed their first record deals around the same time this movie came out.
Yeah, and Fall Out Boy put out an album called Save Rock and Roll.
Yeah, and they're one of the last bands to like properly make it, to get rich and famous, right?
Yeah,
like bands that, because if you make rock and roll music, you're Greta Van Fleet and you don't really fit in anywhere.
You defy all odds.
You defy all odds, defy all genres,
let's be clear about Greta Van Fleet. You aren't just born to sound like Josh Kishka.
No. Dude's
she's a talent from God.
A God-given talent, right?
Yeah,
if that dude had been born or was singing in 1971, he would be John Lennon levels of famous.
Yeah.
And not to say Greta Van Fleet isn't famous, but like they have relied a lot on A, having a song that sounds exactly like a Led Zeppelin song in Safari song, B, TikTok, and C, like having their record label put them in every video game ever and buy them onto the radio and playing Bonnaroo every year.
Yeah, but they're so good.
They're so good. Yeah. I mean, I tried to resist it for a long time because I was just like, oh man, it's just a knockoff Led Zeppelin. But like they're better than Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
they're better than Led Zeppelin. Yes, for sure.
I never got into Zeppelin of all things. There's a lot of us. I
would like to talk about classic rock for a minute, okay? Because
that's how we know rock and roll's dead. Is that it's all classic rock now?
It's all classic rock now, right? Like everything released before 1990 is officially classic rock, and I like
probably more than that.
What?
Probably. I bet you could hear all the small things on a classic rock radio station.
No, because that still exists in the like pop punk lexicon, right? Like people are still making that music. They're not making it for money anymore. They're still making that music.
So like, what is the union approach to the? I want to talk about whatever you're going to talk about, and then I want to talk about the union approach to like how do we get punk rock stars to actually make money again? Do you just charge more?
I have no idea. I truly have no idea. Okay.
I guess you were in a punk rock band and you didn't make any money. So.
Not a cent. Yeah. At some point we lost the thread on, and I know that I contributed to it and people like me contributed to it and people at our age contributed to it. But like before TikTok happened, you couldn't like music like this anymore.
Why is that?
It just wasn't, there was no place for it, right? Like rock and roll existed for so long, basically unchallenged until, people like Michael Jackson and stuff, Prince started making like pop music.
Right.
Like, people are like, pop music is just what's popular. Wrong. Since Michael Jackson, pop music has been a genre, right? Like people don't make music hoping it's going to be popular, right? They make pop music and hopefully it gets popular.
Right.
There's a sound to it. And
like, I think what we're missing in, everything in music that I'm so not qualified to talk about this. Everything in music today is so like, I mean, yeah, bubblegum pop. And like, I don't say that to be dismissive. I think Olivia Rodrigo makes fantastic music. Taylor Swift makes fantastic music.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran makes fantastic music.
Yeah.
Like, but you know, there's no guitar solos. There's no. The only thing we really have is like vocal solos. Like you'll get amazing songs like Kesha had Praying, and Adele has so many good songs, and then like Bon Iver will show up on a Taylor Swift track and it like changes your life.
Well, yeah, since the 2000s, since the year 2000, when all the boy bands started and all that, it has become entirely about vocalists, and it has remained that way. And that's what killed the band, for sure, the concept entirely of the band, because like there are, as far as I can tell, two bands that still make like what I would consider rock music, which is Greta Van Fleet and the Foo Fighters.
So where does like Nickelback fall in?
Nickelback is...
I think you music industry people did this. I think you saw bands like Nickelback and Three Doors Down.
I absolutely agree. And this is what I'm saying is everything became so like, because it was a survival method, right? It had to become very specifically genred and cater to a very specific audience to survive in any way, because you had things like rap and hip hop becoming popular, and this is not like none of what I'm about to say is a diss on hip hop music, a diss on country music, a diss on pop music whatsoever. It's just like at some point we lost the thread of rock and roll entirely, right? Like hip hop has continued to grow and change and evolve and remain interesting. You know, there've been lean years, but it continued to grow and evolve and change and remain interesting. Country music, I would say the same. Like we're in a very down time right now, but like it's getting better. Things are getting better in country music.
Country music had this weird thing happen where like patriotic country music got to be like a thing.
Yeah.
So like the bar for writing was so low.
It was so low
that like if you had a good voice, and country I think is where a lot of rock and roll lives right now.
That's what I was about to say though, is like because Greta Van Fleet plays like country and folk festivals a lot of the times,
right?
And they're not a country band, but like if you start the Rolling Stones tomorrow, that's a country band.
Yeah, you had a little twang, you had a country accent and stuff like that.
Yeah, if everybody in the Rolling Stones, woke up tomorrow and was like, let's start a band, Mick Jagger puts on a fake American Southern accent and they become a country. Yeah, that's it.
But like the great, like there's a great rock and roll band that you're not giving credit to, in like Zac Brown Band.
Yeah, absolutely, because they're not classified as a rock and roll band.
Right.
And for a long time, honestly, they didn't play rock and roll music. They do now, but they played country music.
Where do you stand on like Dave Matthews Band?
So
Dave's not putting out new enough music. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's the real thing.
Is that like Dave in 1990 was rock and roll? Sure.
The Grateful Dead went and created their own, because it all became so genre specific, right?
Jam bands. You
have jam bands, and those still exist, and those are in full force, right? Like Lock-In's a huge event every year. People come from all over the country to Lynchburg to go to Lock-In. But it's like you get these, and people get ostracized for liking Nickelback, right? Is the problem. Nickelback rips, okay? I'm done with it, okay? Nickelback is good. Nickelback has always been a good band.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, they had one bad album there right in the middle. After For All the Right Reasons, they were like, we're going to become like USO rock, like Five Finger Death Punch.
You know what? I've listened to a few Five Finger Death Punch songs. I know that this is the wrong opinion. Five Finger Death Punch rips.
Nah. It's so lame.
It's so
boring. It's so boring. It's so boring.
Their
Their House of Rising Sun cover's cool, but like their stuff is so boring.
It's so
But so you either become like hard rock or metal, or you go away entirely, or you resign yourself to not making any money.
The problem is, if you want to stick it to the man, you have to be okay with not making money. But we live in a world where you can't just not make money.
I mean, I agree, but that's never okay. So that's the thing. That's the lie about sticking it to man, though, is that's never been the case. The dudes at the Clash and the Sex Pistols were rich and famous.
They were the man.
They were the man.
Yeah.
Benji and Joel Madden from Good Fucking Charlotte are the man. Okay.
Yes.
I hate that song so much. That Lifestyle's the Rich and the Famous song, because they still play it. And I'm like, you're going to sit there on stage every night for good money and sing, they got mansions, we should rob them. I'm sorry. One of you is married to Cameron Diaz.
No way. I didn't know that.
And the other one's married to Nicole Richie. Yeah, one of them is married to Cameron Diaz and has been for a long time. They're stupid rich. And it's so fake, right? It's so fake.
You think Cameron Diaz is rich? I think she is. But how rich do you think Cameron Diaz is?
Quite.
Because she doesn't act anymore. She quit, right?
I think so, yeah.
She's like, yeah.
The last thing she did was that Annie remake.
I like Cameron Diaz. She has a house on Anna Maria Island. That's how you know somebody's rich, when like where they have a house. Yeah, apparently she'll go for like runs around the the island. I've never been there while she's there or seen her anyway. Maybe I have, who knows. But people who have seen her say they see her and they're like, I've never seen a more in shape person in my life.
I believe it. But yeah. So, and I don't think this is anybody's fault, right? And I'm not sitting here going, rock and roll's dead. We need to like reintroduce rock and roll like it's an endangered species. But like for a long time, liking music like this was just uncool, right? You could like anything you wanted.
Well,
as long as it wasn't
that's
classic rock.
Premise of the movie is that the other 3 members of his band don't like rock and roll.
Yeah.
They don't want to get into the solos and the like. That first song they play there at the beginning is a good song.
Yeah.
But they like are annoyed by the showmanship of Dewey Finn.
Yeah.
And then he goes and teaches the children like why the showmanship and why the passion and raw emotion of it matters. And then at Battle of the Bands, they still lose because in 2003, what wins is hearts here. Feel energy.
Yeah, just some real like late grunge.
Yeah, like I mean, it was Creed, is what that was.
Yeah,
you know,
and look at how they treated Creed.
And yeah, look what we did to Creed.
Look at what we did to Creed. Look what we did to Nickelback.
Yeah, but
do you see Chad Kroeger on TikTok the other day being like, Corey Taylor from Slipknot's a bitch? Corey Taylor's trying to be Nickelback, and I was like, yes, Chad Kroeger. I hate Slipknot.
I never understood Slipknot.
I hate Slipknot because people are like, oh man, MGK's in a beef with Slipknot, and I'm pro MGK here, right?
Machine Gun Kelly's a much bigger deal than Slipknot.
That's not true. Slipknot's a huge deal. Yeah,
really. Slipknot to me is
the
only people that like Slipknot wear Cookie Monster pajamas to gym class. Period.
That's not true.
No. I mean, here's the thing. They had that one song, Before I Forget. That's a banger, dude.
So this is the thing about what you got to remember is that like all of the music that they play in this movie, like all of the soundtrack of this movie, not the like songs they write for the movie, but like the actual classic rock
like
they play.
Immigrant Song and Stevie Nicks and
were radio hits.
Yes.
That's not possible anymore. Like music like that doesn't get on the radio.
Correct.
But also the radio has become less important, but only for bands like Slipknot.
You think Slipknot wants to be on the radio?
I don't think Slipknot cares whether or not they're on the radio.
Like Greta Van Fleet is not on K92.
It hurts Greta Van Fleet to not be on K92.
But they are on Rock of Virginia.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
I know that. Like that, because that station plays Aerosmith 10 times a day.
Right.
Or an hour or whatever.
Like if your new songs don't get on release radio, that is a hindrance to you unless you're an established metal band.
The metal community just like...
It's crazy.
It's not that I don't get it and I'm like mad that I don't get it. Like I'm not mad at you for enjoying metal music in the slightest. I just don't get it, and I'm mad at me for not getting it.
So here's the thing that I didn't quite understand until I went there and saw it. So I went for a day to that Blue Ridge Rock Fest thing they did down in Denton, right?
Yeah.
Where like 60,000 people came to watch Shinedown, Papa Roach.
Nice Nine Kills.
Well, Ice Nine Kills didn't quite have the crowd that some of the other bands did. They had a damn good crowd though. But like, I was just like, man, I didn't know people still listen to these bands.
No,
and like
I wouldn't
enjoy
know that
these
either.
bands. Yeah. But like you got 60,000 people to come to Danville to watch Shinedown. Like Shinedown's doing okay, right? They're okay without the radio.
Right.
But 20 years ago, they would have been on the radio. Rock and roll is the only genre that doesn't get a place.
I think because rock and roll is such a broad term because they've micro-genred everything.
I agree. I think it's to the detriment.
To the point where like you're not allowed to play that sound anymore.
Right. But also, I don't care about new music being made so much as like, and this is, by God, this is why I love TikTok, because you're just allowed to like that kind of music, right? Like I want to give the kids permission to like that kind of music.
What kind of music?
Rock and roll music, man.
Are kids allowed to like hyperpop?
Yeah. Like whatever you want. Like whatever makes you happy. You should always push the boundaries of your box a little bit, right? Like if all you listen to is bedroom pop, I don't know, listen to Greta Van Fleet. They're good. Okay. If all you listen to is Greta Van Fleet, maybe try out some Olivia Rodrigo for size.
Put on Folklore. It'll
put on
change
Folklore. The singer-songwriter is having a decade for the past like 15 years for sure.
Yeah.
That new Adele song rips. You should listen to that new Adele song.
But so like take me back to 2003. I guess 2004 is when we probably saw this.
I saw this in theaters.
This movie was such a freaking game changer, dude.
Yeah. This movie. Here's
the biggest demographic that this movie shows you. It's not prep school kids.
No.
Because we didn't go to prep school, but I was like a well well-to-do child at a school that was good.
Yeah.
This movie shows you people in their 20s who haven't figured it out.
Yeah.
Because I think that's one of the biggest things. It's why like youth pastors are so impressionable on young kids, is because it's the only person in their 20s that they know.
Yeah.
Like you don't get access to that demographic when you're a 10-year-old to 15-year-old.
Nope.
And so I think like I didn't know what rent was when I saw this in 2004. I didn't know what a mortgage was either. But like when he was like, you're behind on the rent, you owe me $2,300, which by the way, that didn't sound like that much money to me. When he was like, hey, you've borrowed $2,300 from me, your roommate. And he's like, I've been mooching off you for years. I was like, I mean, that's low enough that you're still tracking it. That's not that bad. Like,
but like I couldn't loan somebody $2,300 right now.
No, I could not loan somebody $2,300. But if somebody needed a place to stay and say I charged them $800 a month in rent and they couldn't pay it for a few months, I think I'd be okay.
But also like, God forbid, if Emily left you, you'd probably have a hard time making the mortgage.
110%. Yes.
Yeah. I think that's Ned's problem. Not so much that he's like, oh man, my friend Dewey needs a place to crash, but he can't pay me. It's like my roommate that I signed a lease with isn't paying his share of the rent.
Right. I get that. And Hendrix played this guitar.
How many times
have you said that in your life?
Thousands. But here's the thing is like, and this is
down to, there are quotes in this movie that are just scatting. They're like, if somebody's like, make a noise like, what you think? You're just
fine without me, but you're mine. Like the sound that plays in my head is Dewey being like, I'm gonna take a ripping guitar solo right here, being like that.
Oh my god. And then that's what he does in the show.
Yeah.
Pig rectum. I say that all the time.
Pig rectum. No, I'll tell you the quote, honestly, that has stuck with me out of more than all of the other ones, I think, is those who can't do teach, and those who can't teach him.
I think there's a little bit of story that actually happens there where we learn a little bit about Dewey's past. It's a very brief. I never caught it in the past because at the end he's telling a story. At the end of it, he goes, "They gave it to Yo-Yo Ma's cousin," but it reveals that like Dewey has some prowess as a classical musician, and because there's no reason for him to be telling this story about music to the other teachers. So I have reason to believe that it's true that like prior to Dewey being in these rock bands, he was like screwed out of a proper classical music.
Except
job.
He's lying.
You think he's lying?
Well, he doesn't know what the cello is.
Yes, he does, because he knows it's a bass.
He asked the girl what it is. That's what Yo-Yo Ma plays, is the cello.
I think he knows what a cello is.
I don't know, man.
I'm curious. What do you think, dear listener?
I'll tell you what I got for the first time watching this movie now. Is he says they gave it to Yo-Yo Ma's cousin, a little nepotiz. I thought that was Yo-Yo Ma's cousin's name until this
I don't
time.
know. I get like nepotism.
So nepotism. Both of my parents loved this movie, and as a 28-year-old, I get why both of my parents, because I can't count the number of times my mom and I watched this movie together.
Oh yeah, my mom.
I can't count.
I was in the hospital at one point, and the reason Ferris Bueller comes up so vividly as a memory is I had two movies at the hospital, and it was this and Ferris Bueller, and so we just watched them over and over again. But you watching it with your mom, yeah?
My mom. Every time that when Ned shuts the door on Sarah Silverman, she's like, "When are you finally gonna start standing up for yourself?" And he slams the door in her face. My mom would go, "Right now, bitch."
That is such a Linda move. Every single time. Like, we must have watched this movie 50 times. This is
Because it would come on TV and mom would be like, School of Rock's on. We're watching School of Rock. Right?
Yes, yes, we are.
Because like for her, Joan Cusack singing, Stevie Nicks singing Edge of 17 in the bar. That was everything for my mom.
That's everything for me now. That like when I revisit this, I'm like, oh, Joan Cusack singing Edge of 17. This is what I'm actually here for.
This is what I'm here for, right? And this is what I was talking about though. This is why I love TikTok, right? Because songs like bands like Fleetwood Mac have their day on TikTok. with the children.
Yes.
Right. And like you've got, you know, people who've never listened to country music before being like, man, this Brooks and Dunn shit is lit, man.
Yeah. The most successful duo in the history of country music.
Yeah.
Brooks and Dunn.
Brooks and Dunn, right? Because I remember I watched this TikTok of this kid. He's like, all right, listen, I've never listened to country music before, but like they did not have to go that hard on Neon Moon. And I'm like, that's so true. Because like these people can just have their day, right? Like the Mountain Goats was supposed to play Saturday Night Live this Saturday. They can't because one of their crew members has COVID. They were supposed to play, the Mountain Goats were supposed to play Saturday Night Live this Saturday because they're blowing up on TikTok.
Hi, I'm drowning.
Like,
there is no sign.
What? The only thing that could possibly be bigger than the Green Brothers for the Mountain Goats was TikTok, right? It took TikTok to beat this year.
Yeah.
No Children is a more popular song all time than this year. That happened in the last month.
Yes. No Children's a banger, though. Just to be clear.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I will say that
John Darnielle, the greatest singer-songwriter of all time, who insists on going by a band even when he was just himself.
Yes. I will say this, John Darnielle. I've forgotten the name of the guy who was the songwriter who couldn't sing. Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan. Who?
Yeah. John Darnielle would punch you in the face for saying that.
I know. Also, who am I kidding? Bob Dylan, who?
Well, Bob Dylan really couldn't sing though. Like Jesus Christ.
Neither could John Darnielle. But he sells it. Okay. There is a massively viral TikTok going around right now that's just somebody being like, I need song suggestions because I like singer-songwriters who can't sing. List them below. And all the comments are like, oh, you need the Mountain Goats, you need the Front Bottoms, you need Bob Dylan, you need... There's all this stuff.
To be fair, Front Bottoms do have some bangers. That guy can't sing.
What do I always think of?
I love that trend that's on TikTok of the like where you make fun of the band and then put the top 10 lyrics of all time list and it's just whatever lyric you're about to sing. You know what I'm talking about?
I've never seen this trend.
Oh, really? Okay. So there's this thing where people will be like, you know, in the captions will be like, I don't understand the Mountain Goats. This dude sounds like he's, you know, singing through a tin can and has the worst voice that I've ever heard in my life. And then it'll switch to like top 10 lyrics of all time. I am drowning. There is no sign of land. And all the other places are empty except for number one, which is that lyric.
The best thing about you standing in the doorway is that it's you.
And you're
standing
in the doorway.
That is the greatest Mountain Goats line of all time.
The song that they won't sing.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there? I mean, I don't know the story behind it all.
Let me talk to you about going to Georgia for a second. I had never heard Going to Georgia until I heard and I didn't even know it was a cover at the time until I heard the Aaron West and Roy 20s cover, which is Dan from the Wonder Years putting on an act. The music's all fiction except for the Mountain Goats cover. I never heard the song, right? But in the context of the album, which tells the story, it sounds like the dude is about to unalive himself and the girl stops him from doing it. And in the context of the original Mountain Goats song where John wrote it, he shows up to the girl's house with a gun. And so John actually talked about it on an episode of I Listen to the Mountain Goats on Nightville Presents, where he was like, yeah, there's nothing interesting about a story of a guy showing up at a girl's house with a weapon anymore. Like, it's not cute. It's not funny anymore. Like, it's not something we need to put into the world.
Yeah. No, that's fair. No. I didn't know the story of the song. So
the Mountain Goats won't play it, but Aaron West will. I've heard him play it 4 times. That's also incidentally my favorite cover of All Too Well by Taylor Swift. Is by the same guy.
That's not a cover of All Too Well. It's a cover of Going to Georgia. I will say,
he does a cover of All Too Well. I
was listening to like a crunchy oat milk latte playlist on my way back from Disney World because I was like, I'm going home and I wanted to listen to a book, right? But a 12-hour drive can be a little too much for a book.
Yeah.
Like, it's especially on 95 heading north out of Florida, when if that narrator's got the right color or the right temperature, you're out.
You're out. You're falling asleep. You're driving off the side of I-95.
Yeah, that's all there is to it.
To be fair to you, Tyler, it's a long way to Richmond driving north on 95.
Have we talked about that song on this podcast?
About Modern Day Bonnie and Clyde by Travis Tritt, one of the greatest songs ever written?
Yeah. Have we talked about it?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. This is a song that doesn't work. I don't know if you knew this about this song.
Sure it does.
No, it doesn't, Ethan. And I'll tell you why.
A couple months ago, I spent an hour arguing with the Millihans about Wagon Wheel. So I'd love to hear what you have to say about this.
I believe this is the same situation.
Oh, no, it was you that I was arguing with. It was you I was arguing with.
Yeah. So
Right.
you
Yeah,
wouldn't
and
get
you're
on.
still wrong.
No.
You're still wrong.
No, this is so.
Okay, tell me about modern day Bonnie and Clyde.
Fine, I will. In the first verse, we met at a truck stop, Johnson City, Tennessee. Okay, Ethan, if you were going from Johnson City to Richmond, what roads would you take?
Depends on where else you have to go first.
81 to 64, Ethan.
You could also take 40 to 95.
Why would you take 40 to 95?
Because you can.
No, you'd take 40 to 85. If you took 95,
That's true. Yeah, that's
you'd
fair.
go way past
All right.
Greensboro.
I haven't looked at the lyrics of Modern Day Bonnie and Clyde in a while. But you're still wrong about Wagonville.
No, I'm not.
Yes,
no,
you are.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
They never
Better
mentioned
trust
another
up.
city other than Johnson City. Gassing up my fire when I heard her calling me, said, "Which way are you headed, boy? You need some company." He doesn't reveal which way he's going. She had me stopping at a Quick Mart before we made it out of town. Next thing,
The whole
she was
point of
running at me.
the whole point of Bonnie and Clyde is they just drove all over the place robbing people.
Yeah.
They rode all over the place robbing people, right? Like they're not trying. He's not trying to get to Richmond.
Well, clearly, because if he's in Johnson City, you're nowhere near 95.
I imagine the story is that he gets caught in Virginia and they're taking him to Richmond to try him.
Where
Or
on-
he committed a crime in Virginia and gets picked up anywhere and they're taking him to Richmond to try him. It's the capital, man. Also, 95 rhymes with Bonnie and Clyde.
So does 85.
Yeah, but that doesn't 80 is not a good word for a song.
85 is not a good road for a song.
Yeah. 85 sucks. I mean, 95 sucks, but like 85 is nothing.
95 sucks, but at least it goes from Maine to Florida. Like it's like iconic.
I don't know where 85 goes north of Richmond, but 85 goes down to Alabama.
Does 85 go all the way
Yeah,
down?
it goes down to the Gulf.
You're right.
We took 85 down to Auburn.
Yeah, we took it to Montgomery and then got on 65 down to
to like 4
Yeah.
or 10 or something.
10.
10
Yeah, New Orleans is off 10. Good times. We should go
Good
back.
times. I want to go back.
Where do you want to go for your bachelor party, Ethan?
I kind of want to go back to New Orleans.
Do you really?
Maybe.
What about Las Vegas?
I don't want to go to Vegas at all.
Really? I love
Yeah,
Vegas.
I'm not much of a gambler.
Oh, you don't have to gamble. They have everything in Las Vegas.
Yeah, but I don't have that kind of money. Because if you put me in a casino, I will want to gamble, but I don't have
Yeah.
casino money.
I will immediately want to gamble. I'll be
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing.
Look at the slot machines.
I don't know. There's part of me that's like, let's just rent a cabin in Montana.
I'd be totally down for that. We went to one in West Virginia for Ben's. No.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Yeah.
I really haven't. I have not thought about anything wedding related. I just have too much else going on right now.
I think about your wedding all the time.
I know you've probably thought about my wedding more in the last 2 years than I have.
But even in the last 2 weeks, that pumping bass.
I don't know. You live in a house.
I live in a house in like a cul-de-sac. Like, although I would say that nobody.
It is Friday night.
Yeah. Are the Terriers playing?
Man, that was the weirdest thing.
Woof woof.
I could not. I was so concerned. I was dog sitting for you and I walked outside and I could hear a bunch of teenagers barking.
It is not bass. It is my daughter.
Crying?
No.
Kicking.
Kicking her bed.
Kicking her bed. All right, let's talk about School of Rock. We are an hour into this somehow.
I'm always
is
thinking
wild.
about School of Rock. The thing about School of Rock is that like it's such a 100%er. Like I get so frustrated when I talk about nostalgia with people because I always feel
Yeah.
like I don't have the same kind of nostalgia they do.
Yeah,
It's
I don't have a
because-
strong feeling of nostalgia for most things that people do. Like,
right. Like most people when they're like, "Oh, 90s kids, early 2000s kids, this was our life." This was my life.
This was my life. I have never watched the Disney Channel. This was my life.
This was my life. This is the greatest Nickelodeon movie of all time. When I think about like why I want to become a teacher, it's because Dewey Finn has a pointer that has a rock and roll on it. Oh,
This is the
Emily's-
only thing
I'm being selfish.
I had a point I wanted to make about country music earlier.
That's
that I
a rock
forgot
and
to
roll
make.
song.
That's a rock and roll song. I mean, it's not because that is literally country music. Like Travis Tritt is country music, right? Like
I wouldn't have thought that was Travis Tritt. I would have thought that was like some proper, like if you went to his show, it'd be like a proper country show, like Johnny Cash,
like
style
Waylon
stuff.
Jennings.
Yeah, but it'd be like
yeah.
a one-hit wonder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before you say whatever you're gonna say, I'm reading this book right now. We talk about it a lot, The Hero of Ages.
We have never talked about it. I've never heard the name of that book ever.
Well, we talk about the Mistborn trilogy. And this is the
Talk about
third
Sanderson.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I keep looking at the title of it because I usually am just listening to the audiobook. Like I own the series, but these are thick and tiny.
Cool
font.
railroad tie he's got.
Yeah. Well, it's a whole big thing.
I like railroad ties.
You'll find out one day. But I keep looking at this cover and thinking it says the hero of aces, and I think about like sounds fake but okay. And I think the aces could use a hero.
They have one. It's called Katniss Everdeen.
That's true. There are no archers in these books. Anyway,
Yeah, that's true. I have no idea. I want to talk about country music for a second.
Sure.
Because I do think that we are approaching a country music renaissance.
Yes.
Where like songs like Modern Day Bonnie and Clyde become the standard again, because you're having this guy's a really bad example because he's a racist piece of shit. But I want to talk about Morgan Wallen for a second.
I don't know that I've ever intentionally listened to this dude's music.
So the problem is
I probably have heard his songs.
you definitely have if you're on TikTok, because he has that song. It's like, well, now I'm dodging potholes in my sunburned Silverado.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, he does the cover of Cover Me Up by Jason Isbell. Everybody loves. Anyway, dude's like legitimately like a really good old school country singer who makes good music. I mean, he's a racist piece of shit. Again, I will not stand for that. There's no place in that for that in country music, especially. If anybody's got something to prove, it's country artists, that they need to prove that they can not be racist.
Yeah.
But like the fact that dude's music is so popular right now means only good things for the future of country music. Like,
well, as long as it's popular for the right reasons and people aren't like.
But you get what I'm saying? Like the music that sounds like that is popular amongst the country's fans right now.
Right.
Which is like, I thought Stapleton was going to catch on more than he did. I mean, he has, but like I thought that was going to lead to more people making music like Stapleton, and it hasn't yet, because Stapleton got famous at the height of bro country, and bro country has maintained too strong for guys like Stapleton to overcome entirely.
I think the other problem Stapleton has is he's got that very unique sound, but he's not giving himself enough variance within that sound. Like, to me,
I agree.
Like,
you can't just hang on to Tennessee whiskey forever.
Right. And like I'm saying that, and earlier in the same podcast, we were like, how great is Nickelback? They have one sound.
Nickelback has more variation between their songs than Stapleton does.
And on the flip side of that, I like both.
But also
Stapleton,
Chad Kroeger's also a god tier vocalist.
And I like both Nickelback and Stapleton. So
yeah, same.
Healthy critique.
But I think country music is heading in the right direction, and I'm very excited about it. Not that I think there's particularly anything wrong with
bro country.
With bro country particularly. Like, I've enjoyed it, right? Like I don't hate it. It's stupid a lot of times.
There's some songs that I can't do.
No, same. But that's true with we grew up in an era of country music that was so not grew up, but you and I listened to a lot of country music in an era of country music that was so good. The 2003 to 2008-9 era, right?
But that era
you had your Keith Urbans, you had your prime Blake Shelton, your prime Currington.
But that era gets so much like hate, because it was like patriotic country.
But it wasn't. That's not even what I'm talking. I'm not talking about Courtesy of Red, White, and Blue. I'm talking about like Must Be Doing Something Right, Long Black Train, Before He Cheats, Days Go By, right? That was early Dierks Bentley. That was a very good era of country music, where it was like you could listen to the top 40 on CMT and they all hit.
Yeah.
And that is just an unreasonable expectation, right? Because if I listen to the top 40 right now, I'm going to find songs I genuinely don't like.
Which is weird, because I do
in
think
country music, but also on like the Billboard, right? Like,
but is there, like, if you put on I know you don't listen to the radio a lot, but I find if I'm listening to the radio, there's rarely a song that I'm like, I cannot stand this song, I'm skipping it, or I'm changing the station.
Oh, same.
And I think I just don't care as much as that when I was
does happen in country, though.
But that does happen in country. There's songs that come on where I'm like, this is the stupidest freaking song I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to it.
Yeah. Like even in bro country, you have dudes that are like legitimately making good bro country. Like Luke Combs makes good music. That Long Neck Ice Cold Beer Never Broke My Heart song bangs.
Where do we stand on Something About a Boat?
Something About a Boat.
That's the Jimmy Buffett version. Something About a Truck.
By Kit Moore?
Yeah.
Banger. Has remained truly a banger.
Hunter Hayes, where are we at with Hunter Hayes?
Hunter Hayes disappeared entirely.
Did he?
Yeah, he hasn't done anything. Hunter Hayes had some bangers. He was the industry plant of country music, right? Like they were like he was the male Taylor Swift that failed.
Yeah, I think he was supposed to be like not Taylor Swift, but who's our new guy that we just added to the script?
Harry Styles.
I think he was supposed to be Harry Styles.
That's what I'm saying. Because Taylor Swift never should have made country music, right? Like
I think she should have always made Taylor music.
Yeah, but she didn't.
Right.
You go back and listen to that early stuff, and that accent is atrocious.
I mean, she's from.
I think so fake. Like it's so fake.
There's something to like. I think she was born in Ohio, but then she lived in Nashville.
You are breaking up hardcore, buddy. I cannot hear what you're saying.
You and I are breaking up.
Your Zoom has failed.
No, your Zoom has failed.
Maybe it's my internet. I don't know.
I've got you loud and clear, amigo.
I can't hear you. Hello?
Hello?
You're back.
Hello. My internet.
I don't know whether that was you or me. It is Friday night, so like I don't know what's happening here.
It's
I do live downtown.
The 13th.
Is it?
No, it's the 29th.
Well, okay. Listen.
I want to ask you about Friday night. Did I take you away from anything? I know you're a real Dewey Finn. Do you were you supposed to be playing a gig?
No, I don't have any plans.
You got plans tomorrow, though.
I got plans tomorrow night, yeah.
What are you doing?
Going to Riley's house.
Oh, fun.
You can come.
I doubt it. I wasn't invited, so,
I mean, I'm pretty sure if you just texted Riley and said, hey, I heard you're having a shindig.
Shindiggity? Like a partay?
Yeah.
On my father's
Halloween
birthday?
party. What?
On my father's birthday?
I mean, he's having a Halloween party. I do have a gig, though. We have a gig booked. It hasn't quite been announced yet. We have a gig booked on December 6th.
That's right after our party.
I know.
The good news. I don't work at the place I used to work at, which means I don't have to stress about asking for that day off. So now I can just go.
Hell yeah. It's in Richmond.
No, I think it's in Wintergreen.
What day off?
Our trip.
Oh. I assumed you already had off for the trip.
No, I had.
I thought you meant my show. They were going to come to a show finally.
I had maybe I can. Who knows? I had accrued a day, and I was going to use it to ask for that. Like, I think we're leaving Thursday or something, or Friday. I don't know how we were doing it. I'll tell you one thing: not working, very hard to keep track of a calendar. Very challenging.
Yeah.
Like, what is a Monday? What's a Tuesday? I go by bones, no bones.
Yeah. I mean, today, your brother was like, because I was like, oh, I'll be back a week from Monday. And he's like, what day is that? And I'm like, I know. He's like, me either. Then he texted Beth, and she knew. I was like, just open the calendar.
Could have looked at a calendar.
Yeah, but apparently Beth has like a superpower for that.
Monday the 8th.
Yeah.
We've got a calendar here on the PC.
But like if you ask Beth what day, like, September 12th is next year, she just knows.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's bonkers. I don't know anything. I
don't know anything. Yeah.
Conceptualize a date to save my life. I know that like because there's 31 days this month, Monday might be the 1st, it might be the 32nd. I really don't know.
Monday is the 1st.
I'm aware. But
okay. Well, listen. You had me thinking. Not that it was the 32nd, but I was like, Monday the 31st? I thought Sunday was the 31st.
Yeah, somebody made the observation.
All I know is that day at 7 p.m. I have a wedding and I also have to sign up for a tattoo appointment at the same time.
Somebody recently made the observation that nothing happened 4 days ago, and I think it's because we don't think of things that way. Like 4 days ago, I feel like would be, today's the 29th. I feel like that would be the 25th. But they said, everything happens either 3 days or 5 days ago. And that I think makes more sense. If I was to say something happened on Monday, I feel like I would say it was 5 days ago.
Yeah. I mean, it's 10 p.m. on Friday.
Right. But then
5 days ago, my dog was born.
But then the 26th would be 3 days ago.
No, that's not true.
But
you
it
stop
is.
That. hey, you stop that.
Because that feels right? Like,
no, Wednesday was 3 days ago.
Was it? But if you were to say something happened on the 26th, would you say it happened 3 days ago or 4 days ago?
That implies I know what day it is.
Today's 29th.
Yeah, but that implies that I know off the top of my head.
If you were to say something happened on Tuesday, would you say it was 3 days ago or 4 days?
3 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd probably say Monday was 4 days ago.
I don't remember what happened on Monday, so it's inconsequential.
My dog was born. Your brother was born.
Congratulations.
Well, your brother had a birthday.
My brother had a birthday, and on Tuesday, my niece was born.
Yeah.
Been a big week.
It has been a big week.
Zach attack.
Oh, I do want to burst your bubble a little tiny bit real quick.
Okay.
I don't know when the last time you listened to a new Zach Brown song.
I don't know.
The Zach Brown band is bad now.
Is that
like,
so?
I'm sure if you go to a show, it's still fantastic, and they don't play any of those songs. But like the last time I heard a new Zach Brown song recently, and it was garbage.
I think I was aware that happened, but I just don't listen to news. I actually, if you're not careful, you listen to an old Zach Brown song you liked, and it's garbage. And that's
not true.
No, sometimes you ever listen to
No,
Toes?
It's really not. Hey, buddy, I'm gonna disagree with you there because very recently I was driving in the car with Caitlin, and she was like, she put on Zach Brown like this, like the Spotify playlist, like this is Zach Brown.
Yeah.
And I was like, all of these songs slap.
Have you listened to Toes?
Yeah, slaps. Great song. Ladies, listeners, folks, friends, Tyler's making a face that I disagree with.
Might suck.
It doesn't suck, man.
The problem is, like, when I talk about like songs that make me turn the radio off, that might be one of them.
That's so wild because you're so incorrect. You know what song would never make me turn the radio off? Heat Above by Greta Van Fleet.
No, I love that song.
I love that song. Dude's an incredible vocalist.
Correct.
He's a weird human being, and I would never want to talk to him.
Are you kidding me? I want to talk to him all the time.
Yeah, same. I'm deeply interested in what that band of four brothers is like.
I just want to text them. Like, I want to be in the group chat.
At Greta Van Fleet, if you're listening and you need any touring position, I'm down.
If you need somebody to just hang out.
My dream goal in the next 3 years is to get hired on as a photographer with the Mountain Goats. That's my goal I'm working toward right now.
Do they hire a photographer? I feel like Josh Darnielle gets in like a Josh Kishka. How do you say that last name?
I think it's Kishka. Yeah.
John Darnielle.
The question, see,
gets
Tyler,
into like a 1985 Corolla with a guitar in the back.
They're a bus band.
Really?
Yeah, they're a bus band.
I mean, I know that they like could afford it because of their success, but I feel like you'd be like, no,
they're really like, buses are expensive. Okay. The TAI TV gives you a warped idea of who gets to ride in a bus because buses are expensive.
Pete Wentz paid for that bus.
Pete Wentz paid for that bus. Okay. Adam T. Siska did not pay for that bus.
No.
Fueled by Ramen paid for that bus.
Yeah. I mean, I bet.
And you know what? Fueled by Ramen, I guarantee you, squeezed all of that money back out of those dudes, and that's probably the reason they don't exist anymore.
Or because Michael Got Chislett was like, I'm going to go play Australian Christian music.
He's going to go play American Christian music.
Well, he's going to be the Australian person in Hillsong.
In Hillsong.
Yeah. Well, I bet he made tour bus money there.
Oh, he definitely makes tour bus money there.
Yeah.
See, so the Mountain Goats and Greta Van Fleet are actually probably on like a fairly equal level of success, I would imagine. But the Mountain Goats were not a bus band until recently. Until they got old. They were a van band.
You were a van band.
Yes.
Why didn't you guys have a bus?
Oh, because we make no money. Buses are very expensive.
That would add up. Those two facts.
Here's what happened. What happened to a lot of your favorite. If you listened to like pop punk or metalcore between the years of 2005 to 2017, a lot of your favorite bands don't exist anymore because they got paid to play Warped Tour and they rented a bus for Warped Tour, and that bankrupted them. Happened to a lot of people because they rented a bus for the entire summer at like, I don't know, some ungodly sum, like $20,000 a week.
And Warped Tour doesn't make that money?
Well, some people on Warped Tour do, but like a lot of times their labels will just be like, cool, we're going to pay for the bus for you to go on Warped Tour if you want it. And they're like, yeah, the label's paying for it. Then the label's like, let's see, you owe us for the bus. And you don't get to have another album until you pay us back for the bus.
I mean, that's what I would do if I was the label.
I mean, look, I'm not hating on the label for getting their dollars, but the independent label system that pop punk and metalcore operates under is the worst thing
ever. The criminal in this scenario seems like the bus rental company, not the label.
No, it's not. I mean, you hire a whole like human being to like drive you 24/7.
Okay, does that person deserve $20,000 a week?
I mean, they make a lot of money, those bus drivers.
I understand that
you're on call 24/7,
right?
And then you gotta pay for the bus.
Listen, if you drive,
here's the thing, Tyler. Do you have any idea how much one of those tour buses costs?
A lot.
Yeah, like $1.5 million.
No way.
Yeah.
We should buy one.
No.
Why not?
Oh, well, neither of you or I are qualified to drive one.
But then we would have $1.5 million.
If we have $1.5 million, there are many, 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 many things that we could spend it on that aren't a tour bus.
We could tour.
Yeah, but we could buy a 2005 Chevy Express.
But then we can't tour.
Yeah, we absolutely can tour in a Chevy Express. With two of us? You can fit a queen size bed in the back of that thing.
Are you going to share a queen size bed with me the whole tour?
No, I'm driving. You're sleeping.
Oh, is that how it works?
No, you sleep on the bench.
I'm so confused. You get the bed?
If there's just two of us though, like honestly, if there's two of us, it makes more sense for us to
get an 85 Corolla and just drive that.
Get an 85 Corolla and buy hotels every night.
Right. Just do that. We don't even have instruments. We're just we're
touring a podcast. We need two Shure SM58s.
Right.
And a folding table. And the venues will provide both of those.
We need a projector.
Every day, Jordan is like, "Oh, SCB meetups," and I'm like, and every day I'm like, "Popcorn culture can go on tour. Popcorn culture can go on. They can go on tour. They will make money if they go on tour, Jordan. Podcast." Live shows, Jordan. And she's like, meetups, live shows.
Live show.
3,500 seats.
And you get to entertain them. You get to like do your thing.
Yeah. Have a non-parasocial relationship with them.
We should go on tour.
We're not big enough.
We are now.
Well, you convince your brothers to go on tour and take us out with them, and then we'll see where we get.
We'll open for them.
Yeah, well, I will gladly open for them.
I think
if it means I get to go on podcast tour.
I think so. Here's my thing: is if we went on podcast tour, we would bring guitars, right?
No,
you wouldn't bring a guitar. You wouldn't get out there and
we would do a live episode of Bacon and Eggs.
But if we're opening, we're doing like a 7-minute episode of Marvel Mondays. 2, you wouldn't want to do like one music thing?
No.
Really?
Yeah. I want to do a podcast live show. I know what I'm there for.
Right.
I mean, if we're putting on the Super Carlin Variety Hour, then that's different. Yeah, I'll play guitar for the people. I'll get up in there and sing Going to Georgia.
Anyway, so that was the story. As I was driving into Georgia on 95, that song came on. As I was going over the bridge. That was the whole story.
The most remarkable thing about coming home to you is the feeling of being in motion again.
Yeah. Do you like my Mickey Mouse t-shirt?
It's a banger. It's not as much of a banger as No Children.
Do you like my Mickey Mouse t-shirt?
I do like your Mickey Mouse t-shirt.
I like this one. I like things where details are implied. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't have ears.
He doesn't have ears. Yeah, the ears are implied.
Shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, the ears of the shirt.
Like that. He doesn't have skin either. Or gloves.
The world shines as I cross the Macon County line.
If we toured Bacon and Eggs, could we tour School of Rock? And could we play the School of Rock song?
No. Yeah. I'm sure we would get sued.
Because it's like a show.
Yeah. It's a live show and a movie and a musical.
And I think it's a TV show too.
I believe so. The musical sucks.
I just think the problem with the musical...
The musical is Andrew Lloyd Weber's worst work.
The problem with the musical is
The problem with the musical is the opening number is a song called Mount Rock. It's like, can you climb to the top of Mount Rock? And it sucks.
I think the
And
problem.
it's Alex Brightman, the guy who played Beetlejuice, being not good.
Well, it's not Jack Black is the thing.
It's not Jack Black. It's Alex Brightman, the guy who played Beetlejuice on Broadway, not in Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice was Michael Keaton. How in the name of Jesus, apple bottom Christ, have we not covered Beetlejuice on this podcast?
I've never seen Beetlejuice, and you, for the most, except for the first year, you've hated Halloween.
Beetlejuice isn't a Halloween movie.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. I still hate Halloween.
But you're going to a Halloween party.
I'm going to just come to the party. Hey Siri, text Riles.
Oh, Riles now.
Yeah, we're coworkers.
Me and Rilesworth were coworkers one time back in the old days.
I don't know how to talk to you about this, man.
You're getting very weird every time we talk.
What do you mean?
You're getting like weird and defensive. I'm asking you questions and then you get like weird and quiet.
What are you talking about?
I said you're going to a Halloween party and you got like all weird and
because
quiet.
earlier you're like, oh yeah, you got plans? Hey, you got plans? You got plans? Yeah, you don't want to hang out with me because you got plans.
I'm just bored.
So that's what I'm saying. Just come to the party. I'm not being weird or quiet. I'm saying that like you can't get mad at me for having plans when you asked me to hang out tonight and I already had plans. I'm going to 2 parties.
2 parties?
2 parties.
Man, you Mr. Popular.
For tomorrow night, yeah. I'm Mr. Popular.
I will probably go to 0 parties tomorrow.
I figured as much.
Because I have children.
Yeah.
And I don't have a babysitter.
Yeah.
Those would be the things. I feel like the parties you go to would not be toddler or infant friendly.
I have no idea about Riley's party. Camille's party, definitely not. Every time I've been to Camille's house, glass has gotten broken. Every time.
Yeah. So that one's probably a no-go.
That one's definitely a no-go.
The toddler who hates shoes.
The toddler who hates shoes would not do well at Camille's house.
Have I told you my kids' costumes? I think I told you last week, which was earlier this week.
I think you told a group chat. I don't think you told the podcast.
I'll tell the podcast.
You should tell the podcast because I've had most of a bottle of wine and don't remember.
So my daughter, Olivia, she's going to be who she thinks is Anna, but is actually Elsa, but they're all Anna to her. And then my son.
Good for her.
Right?
What a move. What a power move, especially in that family.
She's blonde and everything. She's a real Elsa, but I want to watch Anna.
Your niece, Emily's niece, Emily's sister's baby is obsessed with Elsa, right?
No.
Sienna, didn't she?
I mean, they like Elsa. She's 9, so she's like.
Is she really?
She's 8. But she has like
God.
her own interests. Like
that's so wild to me. She was like 5, maybe 4 when I met her.
Yeah, she was.
That's so wild.
She's born in 13, so she's 8.
Good Lord.
I know. I was like there when her sister was born, and was definitely there when George was born.
Yeah, I remember Emma as like a baby.
Yeah, like a baby.
Teensy tiny little baby.
Yeah, I mean, she likes Elsa, but I don't want to say grown out of it because she has, like, I haven't grown out of it.
She'll grow back into it.
I'm slowly working my way through the Frozen canon and everything like tangential to the Frozen canon.
Tangential. What a word.
Tangential. Is that not the word?
Tangential.
Tangential.
There's only one N in that.
Okay. See, I
like tangential better though. It comes out smoother.
I don't think it's not a word. I think that's a word. I'm pretty good.
It's not a word.
I'm pretty good about when things are words and not words. I think that I'm above average at that skill.
Are you on perpendicular fueling TikTok?
No.
So right now there's on TikTok, there's you could do a text to speech as like the scream voice, like the phone voice.
Okay.
And so there was just this, and there's this sound that's like super ominous, and people overlay that, and they just like pull like ass up to the gas pump and have the text to speech be like, fuck it, perpendicular fueling. And they like pull the car in, ass up to the gas pump, and like put the fuel, the hose in. Like instead of parallel fueling, like fuck it, perpendicular fueling. But it spawned so many like fuck it, tangent fueling, and they're like way out, like pointed in the wrong direction.
That sounds like a part of TikTok. I love a good math joke.
It's so funny every time I see one.
So Olivia will be Elsa, and Finn, to go with the whole thing, will be Sven, the reindeer.
Yes, you did tell me this. Yeah, yes. You said this is a group chat, but not in the podcast.
Yes, Sven. I was really proud of that. It's just a onesie with reindeer ears, but I think it looks great.
Well, I mean, he's half a year old.
Yeah, he's 6 months old.
Yeah, he's got to stop getting bigger, man. It's bullshit.
Well, yeah. He's going to keep getting bigger for like the next 20 years or so.
I mean, I know, but like, I don't know. I miss him.
I miss him too. He's all the way down the hall.
I mean, I miss Olivia too, but like I missed so much of her like infancy just because of COVID and all that.
Yeah.
That like, I don't know. I feel a deeper connection to Finn.
I feel a very deep connection to both of them.
Well, yeah, they're your children.
Yeah, they're the best.
And I love them both. They're great. They're the best kids. They're special, dude. I cannot wait for them to grow up and do great things. I'm very excited.
Me too. I
got a good feeling about those kids.
Good vibe.
Good vibes.
Caught a vibe.
Love that song.
Are you on Parents of Preteens Dance to Caught a Vibe TikTok?
No.
Oh man.
No.
Yeah.
It's also called Meet Me at Our Spot.
Whatever. The Willow song.
I am on all out of nowhere. Willow Smith makes good music TikTok. I'll tell you that much.
I'm not surprised. Will Smith is one of like the most successful people.
Yeah. Will Smith is great.
How do you get to be the genie? Like, that to me is the mark.
Recently, somebody said that Will Smith was the Black Tom Hanks, and I kind of agree with that.
I feel that.
It's either him or Denzel.
It's not Denzel.
That's kind of Denzel.
Denzel has never played a warm role. Denzel...
Yeah, sure he has.
What? Denzel is not Mr. Rogers.
I mean, that's fair. He's Herman Boone.
Correct. That's not a warm person.
I guess. The only reason I was saying Denzel is because Denzel has like a kid that's acting age and making good movies. Like Tom Hanks.
Colin Hanks?
Colin Hanks, yeah.
Yeah, that guy's like old now.
Yeah, so is Tom Hanks.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
Yeah.
I do love me some Tom Hanks, though. He always does
I do
well.
too.
Yeah.
He always does well. I mean, I love Denzel and Will Smith, though, too.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I want to know when they sat down.
Although out of all of them, Will Smith is, I think, made the most bad movies.
Definitely has.
Yeah.
But when they sat down to talk about, like, hey, we need.
Although, I will say, Tom Hanks was in Turner and Hooch. That is unforgivable. That is a crime you can't commit and get away with. We should hold that against him until death. I really don't like Turner and Hooch at all.
I've never even seen Turner and Hooch.
Okay, so you know what younger Tom Hanks sounds like, right? Like it's like modern Tom Hanks, but like an octave higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just imagine Tom Hanks yelling at a dog for 2 hours.
Okay.
That's the whole movie.
I watched him yell at a...
come on! Why are you?
I watched him yell at a volleyball for 2 hours one time.
Yeah, but that was different.
That's awesome.
That wasn't a comedy.
No. Although I will say, the movie's got a lot going for it. Helen Hunt, boom, nailed it. Helen Hunt's character marries a man named Dr. Spaulding, nailed it.
Man, I'll tell you what, there was a lot of bad comedies made between. Actually, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. The top 10 worst comedy movies of all time were made between the release of Ferris Bueller and the release of Bruce Almighty.
That is not true.
It absolutely is.
Overboard.
I really don't like that era of comedy.
Overboard with Anna Faris came out in like 2018, and that's at least in the top 5.
I am certain that Overboard with Anna Faris is better than Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Oh, hard disagree. Ace Ventura: Pet Detective is a 99.
Worst Jim Carrey role. It's a 0.
It's a 100%.
It's a 0
on the D100, which means 100.
Worst Carrey. People who don't like Jim Carrey, I get it because of Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura is amazing.
It's not
so good.
Dumb and Dumber, also bad.
Amazing. I love Dumb and Dumber.
The only bad thing Jeff Daniels has ever been in.
You're breaking
Jeff Daniels, one of the most underrated actors to ever live. Only bad thing he's ever been in was Ace Ventura.
Breaking my heart today.
I'm just.
You know about things I'm nostalgic for? These movies.
I'm not.
Clearly.
I just was not exposed to those movies because they came out at a time when I was not going to see movies like that in theaters. So like my parents would have had to show me those movies. And they didn't.
Right. And
I'm not saying that what Russell and Linda did was correct, but like while you were watching Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, I was watching Psycho.
I was not. I've never seen Psycho.
Yeah. That should tell you a lot about the way I think about movies. But like most of the comedies that I like, I came to on my own.
21 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street was fantastic. That's 100 times better than Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Disagreed.
It's so much funnier.
Ace Ventura: Pet Detective is so good. You know what I couldn't do was like
Ace Ventura: Pet Detective might have been good if Ice Cube was in it.
You know what I couldn't do were the like scary movies.
Oh, I do not miss that era of film at all.
Like I think it was probably just one company making like epic movie and scary movie and not another teen movie and all those. They would like make me sick. They're like gross.
I love heavy satire as much as the next guy, right? I even love heavy satire on a theme with Charlie Sheen in it. Major League is one of the funniest movies ever made. A scary movie was so bad.
What do you think of like Spinal Tap?
I love This Is Spinal Tap.
Is that a Mandela effect? Was it always called This Is Spinal Tap?
Yes.
No, it was just Spinal Tap.
No, it's all the name of the movie has always been This Is Spinal Tap. But people just refer to it as Spinal Tap.
Did you know that this movie was called The School of Rock?
It's not.
It is.
Is it really?
Yeah.
No, that's bullshit. You're lying.
It is on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, Rotten Tomatoes, I had a hard time finding it for some reason.
Because there's a TV show by the same name.
Yeah, it's just School of Rock, dude.
Okay.
IMDb says School of Rock.
All right, if you say so.
But yeah, it was This Is Spinal Tap. The same people made a bunch of those like mockumentaries that are all really good. Christopher Guest.
Here's one I want to know how you feel about.
Because Best in Show with Eugene Levy is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
I love Best in Show. So
Best in Show, A Mighty Wind, which is a mock of like PBS era telethon music.
Let me ask you this. This is a good litmus test to see if I like somebody or if I cannot stand them.
Okay.
Are the Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers movies funny?
Wait, howdy, Tyler. I have something really. I've never seen a single either of them.
Good.
Not one.
That's at least the right answer.
Not Meet the Parents, not Meet the Fockers, not Little Fockers.
You're in the right camp with that answer, so I'll take it.
The only thing I know is Robert De Niro going, "I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me?"
Let me ask you this one. There's another one. Zoolander.
Tyler, yeah, Zoolander I'm in on, but I'm gonna tell you something, man. 90% of movies that have ever had Ben Stiller as the lead are bad.
I was about to ask you about The Heartbreak Kid.
I've never even heard of that.
Yes, you have. This is one that you've seen.
I don't think I have.
But
I really don't like Ben Stiller very much. I like Zoolander, but Owen Wilson carries that movie.
Yeah, he does. So this is okay.
I like Dodgeball, but like he's the villain in Dodgeball.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn.
I watched Dodgeball about a month ago. Dodgeball holds up incredibly well.
A lot of people don't like Lance Armstrong. Armstrong is like the linchpin of Dodgeball. Granted, I like Lance Armstrong.
Don't care. So. Don't care. I am here to now. If Lance Armstrong has done something other than cheated racing that I don't know about, then I didn't just whatever. The only thing I know about is that he took his blood out when he had worked out a lot, and then put it back in himself when he hadn't worked out.
Yes, he blood doped.
That's all I know about Lance Armstrong is that he cheated. Look, I was telling your brother Jonathan about this today because we were talking about Dodgeball. We were talking about movies from this era that may or may not have held up because I said, and I quote, "I don't know how well School of Rock is going to hold up because it's about the school." And I feel like they said some things you just can't say anymore.
They did, but I don't care.
They did, but also I don't think they did. I think they made jokes that people wouldn't make anymore, but they made them like, because when Dewey is like, "I think I've touched that your children have touched me, and I think that I have touched them," and the whole group of parents is like, "Yo, what the fuck?" and like chase him out of the room. That is the appropriate way to handle that, right? Like, yeah, like it's funny from a 2003 lens. I don't think you could or would say it anymore, but it's not like Dewey was like, "I've touched your kids," and got away with it.
Right. There's another moment in the movie that I think that they lean into it being a movie for kids that works really well when he's getting kicked out of the band and he tells him to read between the lines.
Yeah.
That to me was like, that fits so good here.
And the whole thing, and obviously I'm not a proponent of the use of this word, nor do I think we should shame people for their any kind of sexual proclivities, whatever. But when he was like, "You guys are groupies," I was like, "Dude, you can't. Hey, bud, you can't say that." And then 5 minutes later, Miranda Cosgrove is like, "Excuse me? Groupies? They're sluts. They sleep with the band." And I was like, man, this movie was ahead of its time.
Called him out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
this
movie, definitely can't call
you can't say that anymore. But you could say that in like 2014, right? I mean, you couldn't, but you could.
I think this movie does. I would show this to my children.
I think this movie does fine. I would show this to a 10-year-old easily, because it's a very important movie, right? Because it
pig rectum.
And this is the point I keep forgetting to make the entire time. It shows kids on screen being treated like people.
Yeah.
And it gives kids the language to talk to their parents about their dreams, right?
Yes.
It is a super important, it's a super didactic movie, and I think that it is like the kind of movie that if I was a teacher, I would show in school.
Yeah, like a music teacher.
Yeah. Not even a music teacher, like because I don't think this has really anything to do with music at the end of the day. This is an important lesson about like letting your kids dream their own dreams and supporting them.
I don't think it is. I think it's more about letting Dewey dream his dreams.
Right.
About like Dewey coming to terms with like, because the epilogue is Dewey has an after school program where he gets to teach rock and roll to kids.
Yeah. But the point is these kids never become Dewey.
Right.
They never have to be Dewey. Right. Because they had Dewey.
Right. And they're not gonna...
You have to be the Dewey for your kids. You can't be Lawrence's or Zach's dad. You can't be Zach's dad where he's like, no music until after you finish your homework and also no more rock music. Right. Also, you can't be that dad.
Also, Zach's dad, what fucking homework?
Yeah.
He has one class. Homework?
It's third grade.
I only say it's third grade. I don't know that they reveal that it's third grade, but they introduce a fourth grade teacher and the kids are 10, and your grade is your age plus 6.
Yeah.
Or your age is your grade plus 6.
Yeah. No, I get you. I mean, third or fourth grade, whatever. It's for all intents and purposes the same thing.
Right.
But yeah, the point is Dewey is a lesson. Zach is a lesson to kids. Dewey is a lesson to parents.
Yes. Zach's lesson is, if you're passionate about something, or if you feel something, or if if something makes you open up, that's good. You can lean into those feelings.
And you should tell your parents. And Dewey's lesson to the parents is, if your kid opens up about being passionate about something, stoke that flame, especially if he's a third grader.
Yes. That being said,
because
don't do what Dewey did.
No, don't do what Dewey did. But there are, with very few exceptions, because there are always exceptions to these rules, but there's nothing that you can do in third grade that is going to harm you in the future.
Well, they even reference that concept in this, where he makes a mention that if we win the statewide rock band competition, then you'll get a positive mark on your permanent record. Your permanent record does not exist.
Does not exist. Yeah, it does not exist. No college is looking at your permanent record.
They're looking at your grades.
They're looking at your grades and your test scores. And honestly, by the time that people our age have kids that are in college, like by the time Olivia is applying to college, I have no idea what those criteria are going to look like. But I sincerely doubt that the 1,600 point SAT score matters as much as it did for us.
I don't think it matters now.
I have no idea.
I think they go
Truly,
for the 2,400.
No, they got rid of that.
Oh, did they?
Writing portion, I believe, is back out.
Writing portion, I think, was my saving grace.
Yeah, writing portion was not mandatory for our year. Was mandatory for the year below us.
Like keyboard.
And then
finance.
I think like 5 years later stopped.
I think I don't remember my score. I know I got a 660 on math. That's all I know.
I do not remember my individual scores at all.
I think my final, I took 2 scores. I don't remember which 2. It was like a 1260 out of 1,600.
My scores without writing was a 1490.
That's pretty freaking good.
Yeah, it was really good.
We went to the same college.
98th percentile.
And then we went to the same college, and we both got degrees that we're not using.
Both got the same college and had about the same freshman GPA. I think I kept several points ahead of you to stay off academic probation.
Yes.
And I got a 4.0, I think, my senior year.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure I made Dean's List.
Good Lord. I did not.
Because I tried when I was a senior. I had learned how to college by then.
I made a list, and that list was this person got to graduate.
This person got to graduate. Yeah. I almost didn't get to graduate, but that was not a grade thing. It's because I was required to take a class that didn't exist.
You should have taken it, Ethan. You should work that out with the registrar.
So here's what happened. I was a Spanish major, right?
Yeah.
And Spanish majors, modern language majors that were in the 2015 class were supposed to take this modern language 340 class or whatever, right?
Yep.
However, they stopped offering modern language 340 in after sophomore year. And so I was like, hey, what do I do? And I got a letter from the registrar that was like, oh, just don't take it. It's fine.
Y luego?
And then a week before graduation or whatever, they were like, oh, you can't graduate. You don't have MLAN 340. And I was like, no, that class doesn't exist. You didn't teach it the whole time I was here. I'm not supposed to take 300 level classes in my second year.
I think I had something similar happen because I don't remember what I would have replaced it with. I took a semester off, remember?
Yeah.
That was the semester I was taking Philosophy 495, which was The Great Philosophers. So I have a degree in philosophy and religious studies. And there's I was very excited about the class that I got for it because it was on C.S. Lewis. But I didn't finish the course, and I don't recall retaking that class. But you had to take 495 and I think it was 405. I don't know what it was. You had to take the Great Philosophers.
495 I think was your seminar. Yeah.
And then I think it was 453 was Great Philosophers or something like that. It was 400 level class. There was 2 of them you had to take. One of them you wrote a legit paper that you presented at a convention, and one of them you studied one philosopher, whatever.
But anyway, so
I don't know that I ever redid it.
I was supposed to take this class, but they stopped offering this class entirely. It wasn't in the catalog anymore. The year below us didn't have to take it, but I did. And so the registrar was like, yeah, no, you have the office of the registrar was like, you have to take it. And I was like, no, I have a letter from the office of the registrar excusing me, right? Like it's on my record. And they're like, oh, that was the last registrar. We have a new registrar. And I was like, so what am I supposed to do? And they're like, you have to take the class. It's required. I'm like, you don't offer the class.
Nobody gets the class.
Nobody gets the class. They don't. It's not in the catalog anymore. You don't offer it. Nobody's taught it for 24 months. So I went and talked to Paul personally.
Did you?
Yeah, because I'd spent a year in catering at that point, so he knew who I was. I sat down in his office in front of his secretary, and she was like, "Mr. Tripple's not seeing people today," and I was like, "He'll see me." And he walked out to go to lunch. I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was like, "I need to talk to you about something." And he was just like, "Stamp." Done. You can graduate. It's fine. You can graduate. I don't care. Please leave my school.
Please fix my rates.
Yeah, you want to graduate in 4 years. Please graduate in 4 years. And that was the thing, is like nobody could offer me like, oh, so I stay another semester and I do what? And they're like, but you have to take the class. And I'm like, you don't offer the class.
You're not offering it this fall.
Where am I supposed to take it? You don't take 400 level classes online at the community college. Oh, whatever. I need to do a listener score.
Yeah, let's knock. Oh, we're over on time. Look at that.
Yeah, we're over. Man, this is evaporated.
What is evaporated?
The time.
Oh, I thought you meant the wax in my candle.
No. The time that we have spent together podcasting has just vanished.
Yeeted away.
Yeeted itself.
Let me go into this one. We're going to come over here. School of Rock.
I will say the listener score is definitely going to be the thing holding this down in the future. Like if this is not the number one movie at the end of the year, we've either watched something incredible or it's the listener's fault.
Rotten Tomatoes audience is, like I said, only makes up 5% of it.
Yeah. Although I feel like we might be diluting the 100% a little bit too much, but
no, I think we're like, I don't think this will keep up, truthfully. The 82 on Metacritic is going to help this. So just to recap, though, I gave it 100%.
I don't know, man. I'm telling you, Breaking Dawn Part 2 is 100%er. Like,
you know what score I really want to bust out that I don't know that I've used yet?
What?
99.
There's so much power in a 99.
Because it communicates more than 100%er. A 100%er could be like Twilight, where like, I love this unabashedly. I will give it X factor to the ends of the earth.
But the 99 is the true best score.
Is the true best score of like,
because the 95 the 99 doesn't rely on an X factor.
Right. That's like a true technical perfection.
I can tell you, it's probably not going to be Marvel's Eternals, which is what we're covering next week.
Means I have to go to the theater. When am I going to find the time?
At this point, because did you see that the Rotten Tomatoes score has dropped to a 63?
Oh God.
No, sorry, 62.
Oh my God.
At this point, I'm like, do we even see it? Like, do we waste the time and energy going to the theater to see it? Well, I don't know, man, because a lot of people that I trust a lot don't like it very much.
Well, see, I get worried about Marvel with stuff like that, though, because it's so polarizing. I'm very concerned that there's going to be like this will be the first movie with like a trans character or something, and that's the reason the score is being pulled down, and I'm going to think it's fantastic. So, and I don't know if that's even the case. I don't know anything.
I don't think John Negroni would not like it for that reason.
No, John would be right. John could be, well, I love John. I know he listens to this show. And I love John. I don't have anything negative to say.
No, that really sounded like you had a butt on the other end. I love John.
No, that's all there is.
And John didn't like it, so he's the main person I'm worried about.
Hold on, before I talk about John, because I really want to. Look at the brown of my hair compared to the red of my beard right here. You can really see the distinction, and a lot of times it just looks like my hair matches my beard. But
I have hairs under here that are like black.
Weird.
Like
I love
black.
John. This is not a butt. Butt's the wrong word. I love John, but sometimes we disagree on movies. That's all.
But I don't. But I think that like it's a case where like I think it's a 90. He thinks it's a 40. Like usually when he thinks it's a 60, I also think it's in the 60s.
Yeah.
Look, Chloe Zhao's great. Like No Man Land was great. She's a proper real life Oscar director. And the cat. If you told me, here's the thing about Eternals. Let me get the IMDb up real quick, because there's introducing 10 new superheroes, which is wild. You tell me that Oscar winner Chloe Zhao is directing a movie starring Gemma Chan, Richard Madden, Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek, Kit Harington, Kumail Nanjiani, and like other people that I've heard of. I'm like, oh man, that sounds like a great movie. And then you go, and it's a Marvel superhero movie, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know about that.
What if it's like, I know John is a big proponent of the blockbuster. What if it's more of an artsy film? Maybe we'll get something like that, because I know you and I can like an artsy film.
Yeah, but I think that's the wrong direction for Phase 4 of the MCU.
Phase 4 is going all sorts of freaking directions right now. They made me watch 3 TV shows.
But it's not though, right? Because it's still it is definitely artsier, but it is whole hog just better. Right. Like, and her being like, you know what the MCU needed? 2 characters fucking on screen. That's what we need. And a lot of people, I think, are reasonably concerned about that. And I think that those concerns are being overlooked just in this like super sex positive era of like parents being like, I would love to take my 8-year-old to see this superhero movie, and there's people having sex on screen.
Is that a thing in the Eternals?
Yeah. Oh, you haven't seen the quote? Hold on. There's a sex scene in Eternals. From what I've heard, is a fairly not graphic, but like in-depth sex scene. So Chloe Zhao was quoted as saying, for us to be able to show two people who love each other, not just emotionally and intellectually, but also physically, and to have a sex scene that will be seen by a lot of people that shows their love and compassion and gentleness, I think it's a really beautiful thing.
Weird.
Yeah.
If it's not Cap and Bucky, I don't think anybody wants it.
So they literally like got on the horn with her, and they're like, "Hey, did you really need to film these people fucking on screen?" And she was like, "Yes, it is integral to the movie."
All right, I guess we'll find out.
Anyway, listener score on School of Rock is a 90.
Oh God, that's a lot.
Yeah, that was higher than I expected. Specifically because we have one person in the Discord who gave it a 50. Dear one person in the Discord, I am side-eyeing you.
That gives it a Bacon and Eggs score of 94, rounded up from 93.6. That is significantly better than Dune.
Yeah, I've been told that by a couple people that technically Twilight New Moon was the first movie of year 5, but it's not.
No, we started with Dune. We took the weeks off.
Dune is the first movie of year 5. Like this is what we're doing. We took a break. Okay.
Yeah.
In the future, we'll probably take a break around the same time. So after the break is when the year starts.
You're
getting 50 movies a year from now on. Okay. Maybe less, maybe more, but
yeah, maybe we'll do
baseline 50.
Bacon and Eggs week where we get together and record an episode every day. We could do that.
Man, that unemployment's hitting you hard.
Yes.
This Tyler always scares me because he demands a commitment level from me that I'm not mentally prepared to give. I remember the last time you got fired and I also didn't have a job and you were like, "There's nothing stopping us from working 9 to 5 on Bacon and Eggs." And I'm like, I'll blow my brains out, dog. Like, this is supposed to be fun.
I had fun doing that. I think.
Yeah, I did too, but we did it for 3 days.
Yeah.
And wrote like 9 blog posts and talked shit about the kissing booth.
I love the kissing booth.
Same. But in the episode we recorded during that week, we talked shit about the kissing booth. Or at least you did.
Sorry, Beth. I was uncultured.
I told Beth that one time, and because it haunts me, because she's my favorite person.
I love Beth. I get to be a dungeon master for Beth this weekend.
I'm so sad I'm missing that.
Well, you're going to a party at Rylesworth's house, so.
I'm not. I'm going to a wedding of one of my fiance's childhood best friends.
Yeah, but I mean, we could have moved it to Saturday, but you were busy that day too, so we just kept it on Sunday.
That's not true. None of that is true. Just come to the party. I hate you.
I'll see.
That's true. I love you. But right now,
I'll see what old Mary's doing tomorrow night. I will say this is we're over 2 hours right now on our recording block. I'm like fine to stay up to record a hash browns, but most of the content that will go into a hash browns is already in this episode.
I think we should just talk for 9 minutes about the mountain goats in a hash brown.
I don't have 9 minutes of things to say about the mountain goats.
I could recommend you mountain goat songs you should listen to for 9 minutes.
I don't think that's going to go anywhere.
Yeah, that's fair.
But to 94, a new number 1. I just want to give you a point of reference. If we did School of Rock in year 4, which is the only year we have numbers for, it would have beaten The Trial of the Chicago 7 and been 6th overall.
I'm with that.
Losing to Return of the King, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Shang-Chi, In the Heights, and It's a Wonderful Life.
I'm going to be 100% with you.
Yeah.
This is better than Return of the King. I would give this 100, and I would not give Return of the King 100.
Yeah, but I understand. Like, I mean, that's why we have all the other factors to go.
Yeah, no, I'm with that. I'm just for my own personal stuff. I'm saying, like, I have a feeling that just since we've gotten more comfortable with the rating system, I think that our top 5 movies this year will be movies that you and I both give 100 to.
I think you're probably right if we watch that many. But let's wrap.
Yeah. This has been an episode of Bacon and Eggs. Bacon and Eggs is a production of WBD Podcast Network. For more podcasts like this, you can go to WBD.org or anywhere you find podcasts and search for any of our great podcasts. Our graphics are by Vishon Brandon, Vishon Designs on Instagram, and our music is by Andrew Scott Bell. Andrew Scott Bell music.com. Tyler, what podcast should the people listen to?
Sincerely Us.
They should listen to Sincerely Us, who should be coming back from hiatus any minute now. I think first week of November, if I remember correctly, but I might be wrong. It might be second week of November.
Well, good for them. This is why we have so many podcasts, so that if people want to take a week off, you go right ahead.
Good for them. They look happy and healthy. Not me.
I'm a sociopath.
I'm a damn sociopath.
And until next week,
arrivederci.
And if you want to be the teacher's pet,
baby, you just better forget it. I got a reason.
I got a rhyme.
You better get me to school on time.
Oh, yeah.